what motivated you guys to get your own businesses started, and how did y'all advertise for it, or quote unquote sell yourself?
I decided to get in business for myself because when I was in corporate America, I looked at my boss, I looked at my boss's boss, looked at their boss, and they were there for 20, 30 years, and they were waking up at the same time I was waking up to go to work. And although they made a little bit more money, they still didn't have a lifestyle that I always dreamed about. A lot of us growing up have big dreams, and I recognize that this country rewards those who own their own business. So I actually ventured out into entrepreneurship, to own my own business and control my own future. And you had a second part of your question. What was the second part?
How did you advertise or essentially sell yourself to, whatever your target market was?
And one of the greatest things that I was introduced to was personal development. Reading the right books, listening to the right tapes. So many times I see the topic talking about selling ourselves. But if you actually get good at being attractive, being interested versus being interesting, you'll attract people to you. And it comes down to, a lot of times people are looking for tactics, they're looking for techniques. But really it comes down to is you becoming the person that you need to become. And it's through the reading, it's through the listening, and becoming, doing the personal development to become more attractive. And with our business, what we did was we went out there and said, listen, we're gonna build a reputation where I don't have to sell myself, because one thing is sell yourself, but when other people sell you, that's even better. So it's not about what you say about yourself, it's what others say about you when you're not around that really builds a good brand for you. So that's really how we kind of approach our marketing. Just really doing the right thing, having a focus not just on myself. And I love the topic here, social entrepreneurship, and having a triple bottom line, because I always put people before profit, and if you do that, you help enough people get what they want, you in turn get what you want. And so many people are so caught up in crisis and survival. Crisis and survival, you gotta worry about yourself. But there's two other levels. There's crisis, then there's survival, then there's success. Success is when you add value to self, and then there's significance. Significance is when you add value to others as well. And that's what the topic is here today, where you're not just being successful, but also being significant.
So for me, as a kid, maybe I was born with that entrepreneurial spirit. Pretty much through my elementary school years, I was the school store out of my locker before the school store actually existed. My mom, working for Kraft Nabisco, they make, the Oreo cookies, the Chips Ahoy, and back in, my childhood days, like those was the popping cookies of the time. So what I did was I made a business out of it. So in elementary school, I would sneak the cookies before I left from home, because when you work for Kraft, you can get like the boxes, boxes of cookies. So I threw them in my locker, and then every day I would literally make a couple dollars, and then it just grew and grew on to me. And what I noticed is like a lot of my peers didn't necessarily have that opportunity. So I thought to myself, I came up with the idea of creating a nonprofit organization called Why Not, which stands for Youth Now on Top. Now, nonprofits, for the most part, are boring. Like nobody, I mean for me, at my age, nobody wants to be really going, like you wasn't self-motivated to go participate in nonprofit programming. You were more so forced to do it. So I said, how can I come up with a way that will make my nonprofit succeed? And we're talking, I was 13, 14 years old. That's when I actually developed DollarBoyz, which we started going to team parties, and I was a videographer. In every intro of the video, I would say, yo, what's up, it's your boy Top Dollar in the building, and I would do my little talking spiel, and then it would immediately flash to a clip of my little cousins dancing. Because basically, if you know me, I travel with a pack of kids 24/7. I've been doing this for years. And previously it was my little cousins, and they would dance, and I would put the videos on YouTube, and literally overnight it went from hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of hits, to now we currently have actually over 8 million followers internationally. And what I did with that was, as I walked down the street, kids would get excited, like, oh my gosh, that's Top Dollar. So I saw that I was of interest to the kids, and they looked up to me. So I said, well, how can I take that energy and steer it in a positive light? And that's when I started promoting more positive messaging which the kids immediately gravitated to and they followed. So now through the company we have a record label, which is, you know, it's booming a little bit, and yeah, it just took off from there. So it was kind of like self-promoted of interest for the kids. The saying, what, the flick of the nose and everything goes? Yeah, so the flick of the nose and everything goes, like, anything I want, I get with that flick. It's just, you know, it's a video. Yeah, you already know. But that was it, right?
That was some powerful stuff from both of y'all. So essentially, it was just what motivated you to start. I guess what motivated us. We own the same business. What motivated us to get our business started, and then also how do we advertise?
So, what motivated me and it was we don't.
Long time ago.
Our generation, yeah, it was a long time ago, 2 years. Our generation, like, I honestly feel like we don't have anything for us, especially when we look on television. Like, adults, your job in working in the school district is to allocate money. How hard is that? You have people who like are on welfare and have 3 children and can allocate their money to their children better than you as a school district can do for students who need it. The same thing with our media. Our media does not do anything conducive to our spiritual wealth, our health, our love of self, our bliss, peace, all of those things. So much like food. You go to McDonald's, you can get $1 for a burger, but pay $5 for a salad. That's ridiculous. Like that doesn't make sense. So I feel like I'm growing up, we feel like we're growing up in a generation that isn't going to generate anymore. I honestly feel like that. So 2 years ago, Anthony and I were sitting around and we were like, well, what can we do to like be the difference? Not make a difference, but be the difference, to embody something, to be a movement and join a movement. So as Top said, nonprofits are really boring. Like, I didn't want to join a nonprofit and plant a tree and say, hey, I did community service. I wasn't comfortable with that ideology. I also didn't want somebody to dictate to me what they thought was a help to the community. I didn't feel like an individual who worked elsewhere or who lived elsewhere could tell me what my community needed best. So what I decided to do was go home and research, and we decided to go home and research and figure out what are the best solutions that can be implemented in the community and what have been implemented in the community. So we decided to come up with Phresh Philadelphia, and originally, since we were young and naive, we wanted to attack everything. We wanted to do everything, like basically young mayors. But eventually, through, like, it's like a boomerang. We throw ourselves out and people throw us back. So eventually, after being shut down so many times, we narrowed down our focus to health and sustainability, as well as empowerment through an entrepreneurial mindset and education. Those 3 things. From that, the way that we, I guess you could say, branded ourselves, sold ourselves, is through being hungry, young, educated Black people. Primarily, we go home, we research, we come to events day in, day out. Sometimes I remember leaving the house at like 7 o'clock, DJing, take my money to pay for SEPTA, pay for food, going to events, no matter how tired I am. Finding the energy to stay awake, networking, calling people, meeting up with them. Maybe I don't get home until 12 o'clock because it's a busy day and I needed to meet a lot of people on their schedule. So it's that hunger, that's one thing. Another thing is education. There are a lot of people who are starting nonprofit organizations and they're starting it for their own reasons. I believe we have enough nonprofits. I just believe that nonprofits work together enough because it's more of a competition for donations and funding than it is a collaborative effort to develop. That's what a nonprofit is for, is to develop, not to compete over funding. So we also took a different approach to that, whereas though we reach people for help and education opposed to financial stability. The reason why is because if we can empower people through education and through understanding how to utilize their own resources, then funding will not be necessary because individuals will know how to fund themselves, hence the idea of an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's kind of a different approach that we took, which helped us out because we're young, and then people know, okay, they're not looking for money, so that's great. Now I feel more comfortable speaking to them, because when you say I just want to talk, I just want time and knowledge. I don't want any money. I just want time and knowledge. That allows you to build a better relationship. So hunger, education, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I just want to clean something up real quick. Not that nonprofits are boring, their messaging to their projected audience is boring. So I just wanted to clean that up because, I am a nonprofit, so yeah.
All right. With that, we're going to open it up to questions from the audience. And real quick, I just want to address that, Russell did say that the person with the most $100 million, little dollars, is getting something. So I suggest that as many questions get asked as possible, because that's also going into who gets the prize. I'm actually going so far as to say if you ask a question, that means you get $100 million off the bat. So I want to see some questions. We're going to start with this gentleman right here.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm really enjoying these $100 million bills, because that's what it takes, seeing something visual in order to create it for yourself. But my question for the panel is, when you failed, what kept you motivated? If you haven't met any unfavorable outcomes yet, what skills have you developed that will help you navigate that time period?
When I failed miserably. Like I plummeted. I hit the ground hard, concussion and everything. So when I failed, it's like, why did my feet give? Really, it's like, what happened towards those that didn't work? Was my approach off? Was my message off? Did I have a misspelling in my email? Like, what was it? And failures come in all different, failures come in different shapes. If I email somebody and they don't email me back, I feel like I failed. Like that hurts actually. If I have a meeting with someone and they don't call me back, or somebody says, I need to reschedule and they never get back to it, I'll fail. If I do something or a project and it isn't able to sustain itself, then I fail. So it's a lot of reflection. Like personally, I meditate. So in my own meditation, I gotta level my thoughts. I gotta get rid of so many things so that I'm not clogged with so many thoughts and so many useless memories, and the media, food, all that stuff. So it's a lot of reflections. People have their different forms. I'm sure you two gentlemen have your own form of reflection, but it's a lot of that, because in your reflection, it's all about history and application. The same reason why most people should learn history is to understand the future, the direction they're going. I'm creating my history too, so I need to understand what historical events I've done, why they have failed, and what I need to do to change that. And that happens a lot of times, and I still haven't gotten perfect at that. What motivates me to do so is turning on my TV and hearing nonsense and garbage and just stupid, ridiculous, understanding that
Bad Girls Club.
Yes.
What is that?
Why? I'm
30 minutes of people fighting. We're fighting each other. There's no point.
We're growing up. We're really growing up in a generation where I understand that everybody, not necessarily everybody my age, but a lot of individuals my age will not be at a level of, I guess you could say, health and progressive thought that will move our generation forward in the way that it should be. I understand that, and I live with that. So that's my motivation, because there's enough food in the world for everyone to eat, so why can't we all eat?